So well, बिस्मिल्लाहिर्रहमानिर्रहीम। वंडरफुल क्लब का दिल अजीज साथियों, आप सबको खुश आमदीद। दोस्तों, आज मेरा 12-13 मिनट की जो वीडियो है ये लाइव, इसमें सिर्फ योगा पाथ के बारे में जिक्र होगा और मेरी रिक्वेस्ट है कि इसको ज़रूर सुनिए। ये आपको बहुत हेल्प करेगी आपको योगी फिलॉसफी को अंडरस्टैंड करने के लिए। तो मेरा जो टीचर है ट्रेवर्स एलियट, उसकी ज़ुबानी है और उसकी ज़ुबान में इसको ज़रूर सुन के अपने ग्रुप्स में इसको शेयर कीजिएगा ताकि तमाम लोग इसको समझ सकें कि योगा पाथ है क्या। तो बहुत आसान लफ्ज़ों में है, इंग्लिश में है, कुछ मैं बाद में जाऊँगा तो अपनी लैंग्वेज में ट्रांसलेट कर दूँगा। तो प्लीज़ इसको ज़रूर मेरी रिक्वेस्ट से सुनिएगा। तो लेट्स स्टार्ट।
It means a lot of different things to a lot of different.
So well, the word of yoga means, उसका मतलब क्या है उससे वो शुरू करेगा और इसको प्लीज़ बहुत ध्यान से सुनिएगा। और ये बहुत
The word yoga means a lot of different things to a lot of different people. It's kind of like the word music. In the same way, there are numerous styles and genres of yoga. For some people, yoga is pure fitness and exercise. For others, it's a spiritual path to awakening. And for some, it might even be religious. But in its purest sense, yoga means union. Or oneness. The Sanskrit root is yuj, Y-U-J. Yuj means to yoke, or to unite, or to connect. If yoga's root word means to unite or connect, then the question becomes, what are we uniting and connecting with? For some people, this might mean uniting your breath with body movements, like we do in power yoga, where we're flowing the rhythm of breath. For some people, it may mean uniting your mind with your breath and meditation as you focus on the natural inhalation and exhalation. And then for some people, if yoga is religious, it may mean uniting themselves to Krishna, the Lord of Love. But you could also unite yourself to Christ consciousness or to the energy of Buddha or Muhammad. Essentially, you can unite yourself to whatever it is that you want to unite yourself to. So in this sense, yoga is universal.
Yoga is universal. That's the more important.
You get to choose what you're connecting your energies to. In the yoga tradition, there are 5 main paths called Raja, Jnana, Karma, Bhakti, and Hatha.
5 types of yoga.
These are like 5 paths at the top of the same mountain, with the end goal being to merge the small self with the universal self. The first path is Raja Yoga.
Raja Yoga.
Raja Yoga means classical yoga or royal yoga, and it dates back approximately 5,000 years. The reason it's called royal yoga is because in ancient times, the royal families would learn this yoga from the enlightened yogis of their times. Raja yoga is about the science of the mind through meditation. Around 200 CE, after thousands of years of Raja yoga existing, the sage Patanjali came along and systemized all the teachings into what's now known as the Yoga Sutras of Patanjali.
Yoga Sutras of Patanjali.
Patanjali defined yoga as being yoga chitta vritti nirodha.
This is important.
Yoga means union or oneness. Chitta means mind or consciousness. Vritti means wave or fluctuation. And nirodha means the removal of. So according to Patanjali, yoga is the remover of the mind waves. Or we can say yoga is the stillness of the mind.
Stillness of the mind.
The second path is Jnana Yoga.
Jnana Yoga.
Jnana means knowledge or wisdom and focuses on self-realization by studying the classical texts and also through the practice of meditation. This path dates back thousands of years and comes from the Vedas, the sacred scriptures of India. As we become self-realized, we gain the insight that on a deeper level, there is an interconnectedness of all things. We pierce through the veil or the illusion of separation, which is known as Maya in yoga.
Maya in yoga.
Modern-day science has affirmed the teachings of yoga by addressing that subatomically everything is connected through a field of energy. This is beautifully described by Albert Einstein, who says, a human being is a part of the whole, called by us universe, a part limited in time and space. He experiences himself, his thoughts and feelings as something separated from the rest, a kind of optical delusion of his consciousness. This delusion is a kind of prison for us, restricting us to our personal desires and to the affection for a few persons nearest to us.
This is very important.
Our task must be to free ourselves from this prison by widening our circle of compassion to embrace all living creatures and the whole of nature in its beauty.
हमें अपने को फ्री करने की जरूरत है इस prison से.
This powerful quote speaks to widening our circle beyond our own limited self, our own limited ego and identity, and deepening connection to the spirit of oneness found in Jnana Yoga.
Spirit of oneness.
The third path is Karma Yoga, which means the yoga of action.
Yoga of actions.
Karma Yoga is about the yoga practice of life. How are you functioning throughout all aspects of your life? When we align with Karma Yoga, we are harnessing our thoughts, speech, and action in a way that is of service to others. It's about being selfless instead of being selfish. I heard about a study which said that people who often suffer from depression predominantly use these three words, which are I, me, and myself.
I, me, and myself.
These three words and their corresponding emotions help to build this egoic prison that can lead us to depression and suffering. One of the most effective ways to pull us out of depression is to take the attention off of ourselves and focus on being of service to others. To understand karma, we simply can look at nature. Life is like a garden. When you plant benevolent seeds in your life, you create a benevolent garden.
Garden too.
And adversely, when you plant seeds of malevolence, you're going to create a malevolent garden. You reap what you sow. What kind of seeds are you planting? If you're doing and acting and speaking in a way that's harmful,
अब यहाँ पे मैं जो सिर्फ पाकिस्तान का रोल जो है वो डिफाइन करना चाहूँगा जो कर्मा योगा में आता है. कर्मा योगा में ये है कि आप अपनी जात के लिए दूसरों के लिए काम करते हैं और जो जिस तरह से TWC पाकिस्तान जो है वो दूसरों के लिए सेहत का इस्लाम या सेहत के लिए हम काम कर रहे हैं कि लोग अपनी लाइफस्टाइल को चेंज करें और ये बेसिकली कर्मा योगा है जो TWC पाकिस्तान जो है पाकिस्तान में कर रही है. तो मजीद इसको सुनिए प्लीज, अपना इसको कंसेप्ट को क्लियर कीजिएगा और ये वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट जो है वो डिस्कशन है जो आप करेंगे.
Toxic, judgmental, and divisive, then it's inevitable that you're going to create suffering for yourself and others. But we all have the capacity to choose what kind of seeds we're going to plant in the garden of our life.
Garden of our life.
Mother Teresa said, spread love everywhere you go. Let no one ever come to you without leaving happier. Mother Teresa dedicated her entire life of being of service to others, and she's inspired millions of people. There was a man living in a very impoverished area in the state of New Jersey. One day, when opening his mail, he discovered a stimulus check from the government for several $100s. Instead of spending the money on personal things like a new TV or months of alcohol, he went to his local hardware store and he bought a bunch of supplies. Because right across from where he lived was an open field, frequently visited by drug dealers, prostitutes, and criminals, and they would hang out there all night and all day. But very bravely, he took his supplies, which consisted of trash bags, a lawnmower, and a rake, and he began to clean up the field. By the time he finished, they said that it was as immaculate as the White House garden. He completely transformed this area. And because of this courageous act of service, his neighborhood began to transform as well. There was less crime. Families finally felt safer. And news of this transformation even began to inspire other nearby neighborhoods who also organized cleaning projects. All because of this one man's kind act of generosity. The fourth path is Bhakti Yoga.
Bhakti Yoga, fourth path.
The yoga of devotion in the heart. The yoga of love. Bhakti yoga can be expressed through music, dance, art, poetry. When one engages in bhakti yoga, they offer their art purely to the sacred and the divine. On all my travels throughout India, this has been the path of yoga I've witnessed the most. The spirit of bhakti yoga there is infused in the culture. I'll never forget visiting the holy city of Vrindavan for a couple of weeks. I was there with a close friend and his wife, and we were the only Westerners there. We stayed in an ashram surrounded by sadhus, which are spiritual renunciants. We ate our meals in silence, seated on the cold concrete floor with the sadhus whose faces that looked as old as time. Our meals consisted of rice and lentils, were served from large metal pots onto banana leaves, which were our plates. And when we were done, we'd throw the banana leaves on the ground and the cows would come along and happily eat them. Everywhere you go in Vrindavan, there are temples and ashrams with kirtan. Kirtan, if you're unfamiliar, is the devotional music of call and response chanting. In this holy city, it's been happening 24 hours a day, 7 days a week for countless decades, if not centuries. Being there was like visiting the Bhakti Yoga version of Las Vegas. I can't overestimate the transformative power that kirtan chanting and Bhakti Yoga has had on my life. The last path is Hatha Yoga. Hatha Yoga utilizes
which is most popular
yoga and
all over the
often
world.
translates into sun and moon. Hatha Yoga is about balancing these opposing but also complementary forces of nature. Compared to other paths, Hatha Yoga is much newer. It began around the 10th century CE. And when it began, it was really created as a way to serve meditation and pranayama practice. As you can imagine, sitting around and meditate for hours a day, it can be very hard on the body. So naturally, poses were created to help stretch and strengthen the yogi's body so that they could sit and meditate for longer periods of time without the body getting in the way. Over the series, the yoga pose library has grown considerably, and many styles of physical yoga have been innovated. Our style of yoga is called holistic yoga flow, which is a combination of power yoga, yin yoga, restorative, slow flow, along with pranayama, meditation, chanting, Ayurveda, and also harnessing these 5 paths of yoga: Raja, Jnana, Karma, Bhakti, and Hatha. Remember, the goal of all yoga, whichever path that you're on, is the exact same.
The goal is same.
That goal is oneness. It's about transcending the limitations of your 5 senses, your ego, your identity, and your small self, so that you understand and experience who you truly are on a deeper level. One path may be appropriate for one type of person, one path may be appropriate for another type of person. Just like a religion or not having a religion, everybody's different. Everybody has their own paths. And if I'm on this path, I'm respecting somebody who's walking on another path, because in the end, we're all heading to the same place.
The goal is
and now we have the wisdom to understand the law that love connects, whereas the ego disconnects. We are now winning the battle between our egoic selves and our heroic selves. The sun shines during the day. The moon shines during the night. But the yogi shines both day and night.
That is a more important sentence.
Patanjali said, when you are inspired by some great purpose, some extraordinary project, all your thoughts break their bounds. Your mind transcends limitations. Your consciousness expands in every direction, and you find yourself in a new, great, and wonderful world.
Wonderful world, Doctor.
Dormant forces, faculties, and talents become alive, and you discover yourself to be a greater person by far than you ever dreamed yourself to be. I invite you to look through this section of your workbook and explore the themes, questions, and prompts. I'll see you in the next video. Namaste.
Thank you. So well, दोस्तों ये एक ब्रीफ इसमें जो जो सबसे पहले इम्पॉर्टेंट 2 पॉइंट हैं कि योगा का गोल एक ही है, वननेस, ठीक है? योग मीन्स कनेक्शन और GTVT इन रोड, यू नीड टू रिमूवल ऑफ योर फ्लक्चुएशन ऑफ योर माइंड, अपने माइंड जो हमारा फ्लक्चुएट करता है उसको, उस वेव्स को स्टडी करना, रिमूव करना। और दूसरा जो लास्ट पे उसने कहा है कि द सन शाइन इन द डे एंड मून शाइन द नाइट, बट योगीज शाइन्स बोथ डे एंड नाइट। सो ये बड़ी इंपॉर्टेंट फ्रेज है, इसको सुनने की जरूरत है। जो ये टाइप, ये पाथ्स हैं, योगा पाथ्स, जो 5 पाथ डिफाइन किए हैं, और हाथा जो मोस्ट लेटेस्ट पाथ, लास्ट जो इन्वेंशन हाथा योगा का पाथ जो है उसमें है। और हम जो है बेसिकली टीम पाकिस्तान, जो स्पेशली मेरी जिस पे ज़्यादा ट्रेनिंग है वो है फ्लो योगा के ऊपर, और फ्लो योगा जो है वो ज़्यादा बेनिफिशियल है तमाम दूसरों की निस्बत। अब इसमें बेशुमार टाइप्स आ चुकी हैं, उसमें अब उसमें कोई जो अब हार्म नहीं है, आपको जो भी पसंद है आप कर सकते हैं। हर बंदे का अपना एक गोल है, अपना डिफरेंट माइंडसेट है, उसको यकजा करना या इस तरह से देखना मुनासिब नहीं है। दूसरा, इसका योगा को आप चाहे मज़हब में ले लें, आप मुसलमान जैसे मोहम्मद सल्लल्लाहु अलैहि वसल्लम की ज़िंदगी में उनकी जो लाइफ है उसको हम स्टडी बना के हम इसको गोल ले सकते हैं। क्रिश्चियन अपना करते हैं जैसा हिंदू अपना करते हैं, तो ये आपकी आपकी माइंड सेट है। लेकिन रियलिटी में इस योगा का किसी मज़हब से कोई लेना देना नहीं है। इसका अपना प्रोटोकॉल है, जो 5 पाथ जैसा डिफाइन किए हैं। इनको सुनिए प्लीज़, और मेरी रिक्वेस्ट है कि इनको अपने ग्रुपों में शेयर कीजिएगा, और ये बड़ा इंफॉर्मेटिव है, और ताकि आप योगा की जो फिलॉसफी है उसको समझ सकें। तो थैंक यू वेरी मच फॉर लिसनिंग दिस वीडियो, और प्लीज़ इसको मेरी रिक्वेस्ट है कि ज़रूर 2 या 3 दफ़ा बार-बार सुनें, क्योंकि मैंने काफ़ी दफ़ा इस वीडियो को सुना है, और आपको इसकी समझ आएगी। और ये TWC पाकिस्तान का जो मिशन है वो दोस्तों आप लोगों की वजह से है, और इस वो ह्यूमैनिटी के लिए है। जिस तरह उसने एक एग्जांपल भी दी कि एक बंदे ने सब $700 से पेंट चीज़ें लेके उसने एक गार्डन जो है रिवाइव किया, और वहाँ से जितने लोग थे नशे वाले सारे वो चले गए। तो इसी तरीके से TWC पाकिस्तान पूरे पाकिस्तान में काम कर रहा है। हमारा मिशन ये है कि हम हर बच्चे को, मर्द को, औरत को, नौजवान को, बूढ़े को हम इन्फ्लुएंस करना चाहते हैं कि वो अपनी लाइफ में चेंज लेके आए, और ये आपकी सेहत के जो कंट्रोल है वो आपके पास है, और सबसे बड़ी चीज़ हमारा माइंड है, CPU जो है, इसको फिक्स करने में होता है। तो वेल, अपना ख्याल रखिएगा, और थैंक यू वेरी मच। TWC पाकिस्तान, पाइंदाबाद। अल्लाह ताला आप सबके लिए आसानियाँ पैदा करे, और हमें दूसरों के लिए आसानियाँ बांटने का शर्फ अता करे। अल्लाह हाफिज़। और आखिर में मेरी रिक्वेस्ट है, इस वीडियो को प्लीज़ अपने ग्रुप्स में ज़रूर शेयर कीजिएगा। थैंक यू।